Hey, how's it going?
What's up? we usually do like some preparation for these shows. We don't try to over prepare. We don't rehearse or anything. But for this one, we like. Huru told me yesterday, it was like, we're going to film an episode tomorrow, so watch a movie. And that was literally it, and I finished it about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So this is like...
we're shooting from the hip.
Improv!
No, it's not really. Well, I mean, it's always improvised.
Yeah. But
we're never practiced or learned.
Yeah, we are not those things. But so last year we did an episode similar to this. What was it? Women Who Kill, or like our Femme Fatales episode?
Yeah.
Basically, just like an episode where we would just kind of highlight, like in this one, it's going to be like we're highlighting kind of action-centric movies with an all-female cast, or primarily female cast. Last year we did, what was it, Bitch Slap?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did we do Bitch Slap?
And something else?
And something else. We did a bunch of things.
So this episode is going to be, we're just doing that again.
Yeah.
And because we're both big fans of movies that feature badass women, and we both like action movies. So we're always on the lookout for like really awesome action movies with a female protagonist or like a primarily female cast. It puts a different spin on the typical male-centric action movie, and I just dig it. And since they don't do a lot of them, when we do come across some, I feel like, we want to talk about it, let people know about it. For men and women out there, everybody, these are movies that everyone can enjoy. And
not 6-year-olds.
No, because we're talking about we're going to be talking about 3 movies that are all rated R.
Yeah.
And we're going to focus on 2 that we just recently seen, but I'm going to knock this one out real quick. This is Go, directed by Doug Liman. If you're not familiar with Doug Liman, he did that wonderful Tom Cruise movie, Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat, as some people call it.
I didn't realize that.
And he directed Swingers. But this is the movie he made in the 90s. It's not so much an action movie. There is like a lot of suspense, and it's more of like an action comedy. It's I always refer to this movie as Junior Pulp Fiction because it's 3 separate stories, but the casts from each stories like overlap with each other, and then at the end you're seeing one big story.
Yeah.
But it stars the wonderful. She's gone on to be a great writer and director in her own right. Sarah Polley. You would know her from the remake of Dawn of the Dead. She was also Ramona on the old Ramona TV show from back in the 80s. Katie Holmes is in it. Timothy Oliphant in one of his very first roles. James Duvall, Breckenmeyer, Taye Diggs. It's a fantastic movie. It moves really quick. There's action, comedy. It's really good. I highly recommend it.
Really good soundtrack.
Amazing soundtrack.
Very popular.
Amazing soundtrack, yeah.
I think I own that.
It's also got Jay Moore.
Oh yeah, Jay
William Fichtner. It's
people.
Scott Wolf. Great 90s cast. It's a very 90s movie,
and a very 90s
revolves
soundtrack.
around like an ecstasy deal gone wrong. There's like a big part of it takes place at a rave, and like it's just a great movie. If you've never seen Go, please check it out. It's one of my favorite little 90s gems that I feel like not enough people know about. Yeah. So Go, mid-90s, directed by Doug Liman, starring a whole bunch of cool people.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's the first one.
All right.
And Huru just saw something that I have yet to see, but I am super excited about, and he's going to tell us about it.
So I just saw Atomic Blonde. Charlize Theron, and while we're kind of departing from our normal MO here, this is a major motion picture release. It's kind of popular. Normally we don't do those. Like we don't do Star Wars and Thor's and Jurassic Park's because everybody knows about those.
Yeah.
We do stuff like Go, where you may not know about that stuff. But this sort of fit in with the theme, and I just saw it, and we've got to get another one of these under our belt. So this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. And it wasn't a huge box office hit. It made money.
It made money, but it was also one of those kind of like Wonder Woman, kind of like a milestone because this so rarely happens.
Right.
With Charlize Theron being the female lead of spy action thriller. So imagine they kept comparing it to James Bond. What if James Bond was a woman? Or
Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
And so I saw this, and James McAvoy plays opposite her,
And John
Goodman is in it as well. There was a list when this movie came out. I think it was Yahoo. I'm pretty sure it was them. They listed that one of the fight scenes in this film was the greatest fight scene in American cinema history.
Yeah.
And I read that and I was 2 seconds away from like, ha, you're wrong. I've got this. And then I reread and I was like, oh.
American.
It meant American cinema.
Yeah.
So then I realized that all those ones I was getting ready to list weren't American.
Because you were going to say
like,
The Raid or...
anything Jackie Chan, anything Michelle Yeoh, The Raid.
Or Tony Jaa.
Any of those. Bruce Lee.
I thought you were going to say Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. Bruce Jenner. But here's the thing. I agree. It is one of the best. I think the list had put like The Matrix as second.
There was and then John Wick was on there, and one of the Bourne movies.
And of course Keith David and Piper.
Yeah,
we're still on that
from
list.
From
They Live. So this is gritty like that.
Okay.
And if you imagine the one shot, no edits of a couple of Tony Jaa films and even Old Boy.
Oh right, with the hammer.
With the hammer.
Yeah.
This looked a lot like that. So you now know that it's Charlize Theron doing these things. Yeah. So that makes it a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
The weaknesses of this film, it's, and everybody I've noticed has said this, like the story, the plot is not as much as watching her kick butt. And for me, I've seen a lot of people kick butt like this, men and women, both foreign and domestic. So it wasn't as revolutionary to me as it was to other people.
Most people didn't work in a video store for 10 plus years.
Right. So, you know, like story-wise, you know, Alias, the first season of Alias, did it as well, if not better. All the Bournes are better. Point of No Return or La Femme Nikita, whichever one you want to talk about, kind of did it better, at least story-wise.
Okay.
That fight scene, yes, was definitely up there.
Would you say it was even like top? Like maybe not the best? Would you say top 10? Like of American films?
I can put it up there. I think I would have in more than 10.
Okay.
You know, so like top tier, yes, it would go up there.
But there would be like 30 or 40 probably.
There would be a bunch up there,
Tier,
And you would have to qualify it, like, are they real looking because they had the actor in there,
right?
Or did they have stunt people and they just put it together really well?
Or or would the criteria be that it just had to be hand to hand, like fist and feet?
Right.
Because then you're discounting Carrie Elwes and Mandy Patinkin, their sword fight from Princess Bride.
Or even we were talking about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom
had
an amazing sword fight.
So basically, I'm giving this a B minus.
And I want to qualify this as like a B minus from Huru is like most people would give it an A. So you gotta factor a curve in when Huru is giving you a B minus.
I'm pretty harsh.
Yeah, he's like that one asshole professor that you had who never would give, like he's never given an A in his life. So when you get a B minus, you like celebrate.
Okay. All right, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Minus the asshole part. All right. So so B minus, it is good. I would recommend Go even more.
Okay.
That's just me, because I know a lot of people haven't seen that, and I'm really like, no. Like, everybody knows about this, so you've seen this, fine. Go watch Go.
Yeah.
But this, if you've seen Alias, if you've seen, what was Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider, if you've seen that, Point of, Mr. Bear, if you've seen, what did I say? Point of No Return, La Femme Nikita, Jolie in Tomb Raider, and there was one more.
Wanted. That was Jolie also, right?
Oh yeah, Wanted, or even Salt.
Salt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the ones that Scarlett Johansson just did, where she was like turning into a super badass, whatever. But she wasn't doing her own stunts,
And it was and she was using like telepathy. And
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. She did a couple of like this and this. But I can recommend this. If you haven't already seen it, you probably already know about it. I'm looking forward to see if we were talking about this, if they make another one.
If it becomes a franchise, like John Wick. And it's the people who did John Wick.
Okay, right on. Yeah. So it received that enough praise and it made enough money. So I'm like, okay, you did one for Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
You know, you did more John Wick. You did one for Tom Cruise. You did more Jack Reacher.
Right.
And I don't think this was as good as the first ones of those series.
Right.
But still good enough to make a sequel.
Yeah.
The Jack Reacher one.
But you weren't a fan of the sequel.
Was horrible. Yeah. Even the Keanu Reeves wasn't as good as the first one. I would put it maybe on par with this.
Okay.
So still watchable, and still worthy of a sequel. I will finish with this. The soundtrack, for me, got to be much. I think it got overused, like Watchmen
or Suicide Squad.
Like everybody was like, "Oh, okay, enough." Yeah. However, it's supposed to take place in '99, like the fall of the Berlin Wall.
'89
was '89. Yeah. Excuse me. And so there's so there's a lot of '80s. First, it starts out with '80s. You could call it '80s, because they do play Public Enemy.
Okay.
Early, or was it NWA? I can't remember which one it was. But that's the only thing that now makes it '80s. Otherwise, it's new wave.
Right.
And I say the
we've had discussions about this.
I say that difference because a lot of times when they would release best of '80s, it would be all new wave, as if there were no black people at all.
Talking Heads
in the '80s. I'm like, wait a minute.
And
Tina Turner. You know, like it didn't have to just be rap. Like Shaka Khan had some stuff.
Prince.
Tina Turner had some stuff.
Yeah.
So
Rockwell.
Yeah. So it's a lot. There's like 2 or 3 versions of 99 Luft Balloons.
Yeah.
In the thing, and it got like, it was cool to hear them, but I was like, all right, got it, enough, back off. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna let Cameron talk about his thing.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to Atomic Blonde. I haven't seen it yet, but I plan to. And I'm going to talk about The Assignment. This is the movie that got some controversy surrounding it when it came out. Yeah, because gender assignment thing, like
that's right,
transgender community.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of those things where like people heard about it and read the premise because people were talking smack about this movie before it came out, and just because of the premise. And the premise of this movie is completely outlandish and weird, and I can see how people would think, oh, this is going to be offensive, and it's directed by a man. So it's Walter Hill, the same guy who did The Warriors and 48 Hours. Amazing director. And I can say, like, it's not really my place to say why someone should or shouldn't be offended by a movie. But I would say, watch it first. That's my thing. It's like if you're worried about the way something is being handled, or you think someone shouldn't be tackling certain subject matter, if you want to get upset about it, that's your bag. But I would recommend seeing it first. And with a movie like The Assignment, I would recommend seeing it, because I watched this and I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about it. Like, it was like I was watching it and I was like, I think the controversy was blown out of proportion. But then I thought, as a straight man who doesn't really know much at all about that world, it's not really my place to say if it is or isn't offensive.
You don't have any like chips in that poker.
Exactly. Yeah. But I will say it was handled well. I didn't find anything too horrible about it. Basically, it boils down to a standard revenge movie with this crazy twist thrown in it. And do some spoilers here. If you like, the premise of the movie though. I've already mentioned the transgender thing. But basically, like, it's and this is something that talked about. This is what all the controversy was. Like this crazy plastic surgeon, this kind of like off the books doctor, played by Sigourney Weaver, decides to get revenge on this hitman named Frank Kitchen, played by Michelle Rodriguez. Decides to get revenge on her by kidnapping her, knocking her unconscious, and changing her from a man to a woman.
There are some people I wouldn't mind. Like, I'm like, all right, now you get to be a black person.
And there have been
some black men,
and that was like
Watermelon Man,
or from the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone,
yeah, the movie.
Where you just kind of like, okay,
so something like that has been done before. But like I said, apart from the crazy like premise of the movie, it is a standard revenge film, and but
no more crazier than The Face Off. Just full body.
Yeah, like that.
So we've been here before.
Yeah.
Nick Cage.
But delving into like transgender issues, again, like not my place to speak on that subject. But if you heard about this movie and you were bothered by it, I would say maybe see for yourself. And if you're watching this online and you have seen this, you do have a dog in this fight, leave us a comment and tell us what you thought. Get a dialogue going. Because I would be, curious to hear what someone from the transgender community has to say on this after they had seen the movie.
After
they had seen watch the movie. The one, like, it's a really well done movie. Sigourney Weaver is amazing. In some ways, like, by the end of the movie, it's almost that, like, Sigourney Weaver is kind of the star of the movie. And Michelle Rodriguez is like the focus of the movie, but or at least 50-50. The cast is amazing. As I already said, Sigourney Weaver, Michelle Rodriguez, Tony Shalhoub, if you're a fan of Monk. Tony Shalhoub in a very un-Monk role. Anthony LaPaglia, who doesn't work that much anymore. He has a small but really great role in it. My biggest gripe with the movie is that I felt like they should have had a male actor play her at the beginning of the movie. Okay. Because when Michelle Rodriguez is playing Frank Kitchen as a man, it's literally Michelle Rodriguez with a mustache and beard.
Yeah.
And then like it happens, and like there's this scene where she goes and looks in the mirror, and it's like she immediately knows something has happened.
Yeah.
But her only reaction should be, "Oh my God, someone shaved my face," because not a whole lot happens. Like there's maybe 10 or 15 minutes of the movie before the operation happens. I feel like the movie could have been a little better because Sigourney Weaver, because they even mentioned that they did some facial reconstruction on her too to make her have softer, more feminine features. But it was literally like they had a beard and mustache on Michelle Rodriguez. So I think
they were just saving money.
They could have cast someone like a Diego Luna or maybe a Wilmer Valderrama to play it. Like someone like a short actor with some vaguely feminine features, same age.
Or just soft masculine.
Yeah.
That would be still the same.
Diego Luna would have been perfect because he's kind of a shorter, skinny guy, same age, height, build. I think that would have made it a little more interesting because when you're seeing Michelle Rodriguez as the Frank Kitchen character, as a guy in the beginning of the movie, you're kind of like, come on. Come on.
Suspension of disbelief.
And it's she's doing like this gravelly voice thing, and it's like 80% there, but it's not. So my only gripe with the movie would be that they should have had a male actor playing her in the opening scenes, especially since they go out of their way to mention that they did facial reconstruction on her. So that would explain like why she like when he comes out as a woman, that her face is different instead of just literally like they shaved her beard and mustache.
So they, in other words, like you're saying, they even in the plot wise, they gave themselves an out to use a male actor.
Yeah, and
didn't take it.
Yeah. But I'll say that like once that's done with, and once Michelle Rodriguez is the rest of the movie as a female character, the movie is kind of badass. Like Walter Hill is an amazing director when it comes to handling action. strong female-led movie, as I said. It's Michelle Rodriguez and Sigourney Weaver. I've always been a fan of hers ever since the first Resident Evil. I loved when they brought her on to Lost. I hate when they just wrote her off of that show after one season, but I've always been a fan of Michelle Rodriguez. I think she should get a lot more work than she does because she's awesome.
I think she got in trouble off the set.
Yeah, and wasn't she in Fast? She was in Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious, too.
Yeah.
But I mean the Lost bit.
Oh right, yeah.
I think she
got some shenanigans.
Yeah, she and a couple other people like went a little too crazy on that.
But going back to what I was initially talking about, a lot of people tend to like get in a huff over something before, like by just hearing about it.
I do.
And I've done it too.
Yeah.
But with something like this, where it is like a hot button issue, like see the movie first because it might not be what you think it is. It might not be like demeaning or offensive or awful. And I honestly don't think that was Walter Hill's intention. I think he just was making a revenge movie and he came up with this ginormous what if to like spin the movie around, because take that out of it and it's just a movie you've seen a million times before. A hitman is wronged and then he goes after the people. Like it's John Wick. There's even a dog in The Assignment.
Right.
So apart from that giant thing that spins the movie, it's a standard revenge action movie. But I would give it a solid C+, B-. I dug it.
How would you do it versus Go?
It's not as good as Go.
Okay.
Go but Go is one of my favorite, like I said, Go is one of my favorite little hidden 90s gems.
Yeah.
And I recommend that movie to so many people. Go for me is a solid A.
Yeah.
But The Assignment, check it out. And like I said, see what you think for yourself. Keep an open mind. And like I said, if you do have some insight information into this world or this community, if you're watching this online, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. Because I might have missed the boat on it. And like I said, it's not my place to talk about something like that.
We're going to, he's got a bit coming up that we're going to close with. But just so you know, I think we're going to talk about this in our next show just for a little bit, not quite as long. Mm-hmm. But we're going to swap.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen his movie and he hasn't seen my movie. So we're gonna here, you give me that. We're gonna this. All right. So then we'll comment on the other person's comment on the other person's movie. So we'll see.
So the next show you're watching.
So tune into that bit of excitement.
Yeah, and I want to see what Huru has to say about The Assignment, and we'll see what I have to say about Atomic Blonde.
Anticipation.
So
we're gonna do this.
Yeah, we're coming up on the end of the show here, but if you've been following the show, and I'm sure you have, because
you know what, I haven't even been following.
Fans are just rabid, loyal fans here. So I'm sure you've been waiting with bated breath for us to continue with this segment. 100 movie quotes. The AFI did their top 100 quotes, movie quotes of all time, but there's a lot of movies that they didn't put in there, and they made their list almost 20 years ago, so movies have been made since then, and they only did for American movies. So Huru and I decided to make our own list of 100 great quotes. We did the first 10 on a previous episode, and on this episode we've got 10 more. These are great movie quotes, and again, if we're skipping a quote that you think we should, like Houston, we have a problem, we're not going to do that one because that was on the AFI Top 100. Yeah. These are movie quotes that aren't on the AFI. These are the Cameron and Huru Top 100 quotes of all time.
Do you feel lucky, punk?
That was on the AFI.
Yeah, like come on. Yeah.
So do the.
So this is
Huru did them last time, so I'm going to read them this time.
11 through 20.
The 11 through 20. Number 11. What is your damage?
Heathers.
Yeah. 12. You shall not pass.
That would probably have made it on AFI
if that movie had come out before then.
If Lord of the Rings had come out.
Personal favorite of mine, and this goes out to everyone out there. Goonies never say die.
Yeah. Now, if you want us to tell you what movie that is from, then don't even watch our show.
Then stop watching our show. We don't want you as a fan.
I mean, we do. But come on, really? Next one.
Personal favorite of mine and Huru's. Are you gonna bark all day, little doggy, or are you gonna bite?
Okay, that's not one of my favorites though.
Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, I know it's Reservoir Dogs.
I've heard you say that before.
You've never heard me say that?
Yes, I have.
No.
We'll edit that out.
Okay.
This is one of my personal favorites, and a lot of other movies and shows have said this. This has become, like, and again, this is what makes a great quote, is it sinks into the ether of society and no one knows where it came from. And I'm 90% sure the first time this was ever uttered in a movie by Joel Schumacher, of all people, from the 1970s, called Car Wash. This line was uttered by the great Antonio Fargas, and that line is, "I'm more man than you'll ever be, and more woman than you'll ever get." Because he was the cross-dressing.
Yeah.
And again, that's a line that has like just seeped into the public conscious, the zeitgeist. You know, it's like part of, but that's where it came from. And if I'm wrong, correct me. But yeah, Car
Seeped
Wash.
into the poltergeist.
Yeah.
Yep.
Antonio Fargas.
That was a badass.
Love that man.
Yeah.
Next one, Princess Bride, As You Wish.
Yeah.
Now, we'll probably do a bunch of more quotes from Princess Bride because that is a very quotable movie,
Yeah.
but As You Wish, that's up there.
Yeah.
This one, okay, I know this is one of your favorite. Aliens, Bill Paxton.
I hate Aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens is not my favorite movie of all time.
Game over, man! Game over!
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. The next one, by the great head of the calamari alien guys from Return of the Jedi, which has become its own meme.
Yeah.
It's a trap!
It's become its own everything.
It's a trap! It's a trap! And since we are going outside of Hollywood American films, do our first quote from a movie from across the pond, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's just a flesh wound. So many people have said that, like, that's like,
Yeah. We'll have to, now that you've opened the door, there's probably a lot more coming from Monty Python.
Yeah. And I know we just did one from Aliens, but we're going to throw another one in there from the great Sigourney Weaver, because we just mentioned, because we did Sigourney Weaver.
I hate Sigourney Weaver.
Stay away from her, you bitch.
Yeah. Man, that wasn't on AFI?
No.
You sure?
They don't do, because they didn't do, I don't think they did anything with like cursing and stuff.
Oh.
They maybe, frankly, Scarlet, I don't give a damn.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and I didn't, and honestly when I was writing that, I was like, oh, we just did two quotes from the same movie.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It's my favorite movie of all time.
Like I said, we literally just threw this show together like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So,
he did that for me.
yeah,
There-
we
there
threw
you
this show together after we started filming it.
Could you tell?
Good night, everybody. Yeah, we have gone over on time, which we always do. So I'm Cameron Price, and this is
Baxter.
that's Baxter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, there's Baxter in the floor.
Baxter's right there.
He was not in this episode very much.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
You saw him.
Yeah. But good night. Keep watching movies.
Keep eating cereal.
Keep eating cereal.
We're gonna come back with these. So it's not a rerun. We'll just talk about them some more, and then I'll remember what movie that I saw that I will recommend to you. It was a movie with people in it, I think, or fish. Yeah, I see you.
It's the Baxter Show.
It's the Baxter Show.